I want you guys to realize I'm different. I don't mean because I wear a Versace bathrobe or because I bleach my hair from time to time. What makes me different than every other person on the internet that's teaching any business model for that matter is that I'm still in the game. I'm not somebody who decided that now that they're teaching it, they're going to exit the game. They're going to hang up their jersey and put themselves in the Hall of Fame and say, yeah, when I was in the game, that's what we used to do. Imagine if I wasn't in the game. Imagine if I wasn't running ads every day. Imagine if I wasn't dealing with Google My Business stuff, if I wasn't dealing with organic ranking stuff, if I wasn't looking at new niches, if I wasn't cold calling business owners. How would I give you guys advice, relevant advice? How could you believe anything that I said when I've been out of the game for years and years and years? Guys, the internet changes so fast. This business model has changed multiple times since I started doing it. It has changed a lot even since I started teaching it. Hell, it has changed a lot in the last 6 months. We are facing challenges that we weren't facing before. Things that we were facing have become easier. How are you guys taking the advice or listening to some of these morons who aren't in the game? It's laughable. If I was out of the game, if I stopped doing this business model for a freaking year, I would be irrelevant. What I said would be irrelevant. What I talked about in terms of SEO would be irrelevant. What I talked about in terms of my cold calling script would be irrelevant. What I talked about in terms of what works with ads and niches and how business owners are responding would be irrelevant. Sometimes I get these people that message me and they say, hey, I found your content, or I heard about the business model because I listened to a podcast that you did. And I've been consuming all the different people's content on the internet, this guy and that gal and this guy and this gal. And I'm like, dude, why? Before you listen to anything, you should question that person. If you're brand new on the show, this is your very first day listening to me, I want you to ask yourself, why should I listen to this guy? Because it's pretty cheap and it's pretty easy to grab a mic and to get a computer and turn on the camera and go live and talk about stuff, guys. But I want you to think about, what have I done in this business model? And the people that you're listening to, what have they done in the past? What are they doing in the current? The game has changed so much, it is irrelevant. This last week, we pitched deals. My agency has pitched deals. We're actively looking for new business owners. In the last week, we've hired a new closer. We've hired a new setter and trained the new setter. In the last week, on Friday, guess who did cold calls? Guess who doesn't need to do cold calls because they have setters that will do the cold calls that are getting paid? This guy. Why in the hell would I do cold calls? Now, I'm not saying it's something that I want to do every day. It's not something that I should do every day. I don't think it's the best use of time for me every single day. But I did cold calls as recently as Friday because it had been too long since I'd done that aspect of the business. It had been too long since I'd used my script that I give everyone in Digital Landlords. And I was like, you know what? I need to get out there. I need to get a list. I need to get my freaking phone out. I need to just go. I need to make some phone calls and I need to make sure the script still works. See if we need to make some tweaks. See if business owners are responding any differently. Guess what niche I called for? Concrete. The niche that everyone says is saturated. I called on a concrete niche with a list exactly how I talk about building it. I only called people that are already paying for ads. And I spent time on Friday and hooked 2 business owners. I did 2 calls. I hooked 2 business owners. Your boy's still in the game and he still got it. All I'm saying is, before you take advice from anyone, I don't care if you're trying to get a new physique. I don't care if you're trying to invest money in the stock market or whether you're trying to start a business. And maybe you watch this and you're like, this business model isn't for me and I want to go do SMMA. Great, go do it. You'll be back. But if you decide to do it, all I'm going to tell you is make sure that the person you decide to listen to is in the game. Make sure the person that you decide to listen to has made the kind of money that you desire to make. Because if not, what are you doing?